Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 6 of the RT Machine podcast. We have a special pair of guests today, Jeff and Rob from Greene Street Joinery.
Yeah.
We're glad to have them up. They're the guys that got us started in all this.
Got you on the bug, huh?
And
Yeah, blame us.
Yeah, right.
blame those guys.
Yeah, it becomes a black hole of time on the podcast.
Yeah, let's see. You guys did a couple tours today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're glad to be here. We had a great time at Lewis Lumber and a great time here. So
Yeah, Keith's a good guy over there.
yeah,
Heck of an operation.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't know of him until you heard the podcast, and that's why you
right.
went. You thought you'd go up and see him.
yep.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I thought it'd be a good field trip.
He had an ex-O'Shea employee in the office, so that's where we buy our lumber.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, well, we're gonna have to change that today. I'm like, yeah.
The O'Shea guys might get a little mad at us, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Well, how did you guys get started in the business?
Wow. Well, we both came from other fields. It was a second career for both of us. Coincidentally, we both started in the restaurant business. Jeff,
That's an odd transition.
yeah,
It
Jeff
is.
front of house and me back of house.
Together, you worked. You didn't work
he-
together. Okay.
Yeah. I started earlier than Jeff, obviously, my
Yeah.
age difference.
Yeah.
I fell into it. I was waiting to get my teacher's license, and I was a teacher in New York City, and moved to New Jersey just after I started, and I was waiting for my license. If you don't know, you need a different license for each state.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, so I took the tests, and I'm waiting for my license to come along, and like anybody of good, hard-working stock, you look for a job while you're waiting. You don't just sit
The
around.
bills still got to get paid, right?
That's right. And I'd always
the wife won't be happy.
No.
You know?
always sort of dabbled in woodworking, but I knew nothing except what I saw on New Yankee Workshop.
Oh, yeah. Good old Norm.
So I said, you know what? While I'm waiting, let me just put a sign in my front yard, and that's how I started.
That was the beginning.
Yeah, Jeff.
Well, yeah. So I worked in restaurants for about 10 years. From the time I was just old enough to work until I guess I was probably about 23. 23, because 2012 Hurricane Sandy hit. We're from New Jersey, and we live right on the coast. Sandy hit. The restaurant where I was working took like 7-8 feet of water. So needless to say, it was like totally wiped out. We got in there and cleaned everything out, and we were hoping that we were going to be able to reopen. But in the meantime, I got a call from my boss, and he said, we have this client, and he's picking up some part-time work with a builder. He knows that everybody's going to be out of work. Do you want to go help him out? I said, yeah. This was like right around Thanksgiving 2012. So I started with him. We're doing mostly like, cutting sheetrock at 2 feet because, most of the higher lying places only got a little bit of water. So cutting sheetrock out, putting in new sheetrock, just stuff like that. And I did that for a little bit, and work kind of dried up with him. I was still doing some bartending and stuff. My then girlfriend, is a hairdresser, and she had a client whose husband was a custom builder. So I ended up getting a job with him. That was like the day after Christmas 2013 I started with him. And worked with him for a couple years. I think in 2016 maybe we met.
Yeah, I always want to call it docking.
Yeah, maybe that's the name. We won't say exactly what his name is. But that is it.
Docking.
Yeah. Like
Air
Tom.
quote.
So we met on a job. I was working for the builder. I was like the lead finish carpenter at that time. And Rob was working for the cabinet shop who was putting in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually came to measure for like some mantles. And we hit it off immediately. We were talking about working in restaurants and
Music.
yeah. And then it must have been 2018, I actually ended up getting a job at this cabinet shop where where Rob had been working.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't working there at the time.
Oh, you were already.
Our paths had diverged.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you were on. Everybody said you were on sabbatical.
Yeah. I started working at that cabinet shop when I tore a bicep tendon, and I realized I couldn't work by myself anymore. And I met Tom when I had to borrow a piece of equipment, and so I went to work for Tom, and I had this client that was from my old stable of work that wanted a kitchen built. So I brought it into the shop, and he didn't want to have anything to do with it. He said, just go back to your shop and build it.
It was too complicated for him. Like frame inset cherry with bird's eye maple panels.
Sounds like a neat project.
It was a good job. So I was back at my shop when Jeff started working there. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back after that. And Lou, who's the shop manager, was like, no, it's Jeff. Come back, And anyway, I went back, and we both wound up at that cabinet shop together. You could pick it up from there.
Yeah, so that was, let's see, Hunter was born in June. I think I started there in like April or something. So you came back probably, I think it was right before Hunter was born. So probably like early June. And then, we worked there, and it was it could be a tough place to work. The boss really liked to we always said if there were 5 corners on a circle or on a square, he would cut them all. Like he would glue together 1/4-inch backs for cabinets and stuff, like real hack kind of stuff. So we were always always had a bad taste in our mouth about the things that were going on because it was our name on it too. You know what I mean? When you're out there installing a kitchen, the client says, "What's up with that?" You have to, you feel culpable in the whole thing. So
good word.
Yeah. So we always had this fantasy sort of breaking off and making our own thing where we did everything, the right way and really nice and, more like woodworking rather than just like, Euro frameless cabinetry, which was the bulk of what we were doing. So we were always scheming for, for say like whatever it was, 6 months there.
Yeah.
And then Rob had an untimely
exit.
Yeah, so I'll let you tell about that.
So there was always a little bit of friction between me and Tom, and some of it was that I had my own shop, and had done it, so it sort of disproved some of his theories about why we don't do certain things because they don't work. And it's like, well, that's not really true.
Right.
So it was the day after Christmas. Tom calls me, and we're all leaving, and he goes, we're going to be a little slow these next couple of weeks. Why don't you stay home for a couple of weeks, and I'll call you when we need you. I'm like, Well, that call never came.
Yeah.
Which is funny because when we stopped by Tom's a couple weeks ago, we finally went over there for the first time, and I left. I guess we can get to when I left, but I didn't leave on like bad terms necessarily, but we hadn't seen Tom in years.
Yeah.
And we finally went over there, and Rob goes, I've been waiting for you to call me.
Still waiting for that call.
He was a little dumbfounded.
Been waiting by the phone all these years.
He's like, what do you mean?
The funny part is, too, that he's been following us. He watches all our videos. He listens to the podcast, so he knows exactly what's going on.
He'll listen to this, and there's no, Tom, we don't have any hard feelings.
Yeah.
We actually we liked you more than we remember when we were there.
That was it. He was much more likable as somebody we don't work for.
Well, when you separate yourself from them.
Yes.
We've had time heals all as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
So Jeff started building an Instagram account for me while we were still there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you got laid off, as we call it.
Yeah.
I started the Barone Woodwork, which was the name of Rob's company, Instagram, because now I was like, oh man, now we got to get enough work where now I can leave and we can start this thing that we've been talking about.
He just had a kid. I mean, it was a risk.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
scary.
absolutely, yeah.
So then, that went on for a while, and I would sort of moonlight over there where I'd work like 40 hours in 3 days at Tom's, and then I would go to Rob's shop and I'd help him, and we had a third partner at the time. Well, the company wasn't actually a thing yet,
Yeah.
but there was a third guy at the time, so I'd help build these projects, go on installs, stuff like that. And then it was around like Labor Day, I think, of 2019. My mother-in-law had some freak thing where she had something wrong with her heart. She wasn't feeling well, went to the doctor, and they're like, you need to go to the hospital. So she went, and she had to have a pacemaker put in. And basically they told her, and she's like really healthy, stick thin, exercises, eats really well. They're like, work is killing you. Like the stress is literally killing
Oh, yeah?
you. So I'm like, oh man, if this isn't a sign, because I was super stressed.
Days to come, right?
Yeah, like bringing home all that stress was a lot. On top of, having a young kid and just being married, it's stressful. It's just a stressful existence, when you have to be stressed at work as well. So I was like, you know what? I'm putting in my 2 weeks. So I sent a letter of resignation to Tom and explained, the whole thing, that, I just wasn't satisfied with the way that we did things, and that, I just thought it was time for me to go off on my own. I didn't say that we were going to start a company. So yeah, I did my 2 weeks, and then that was it.
You guys jumped off the bridge
Yeah.
together, holding hands.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
September 2019.
How did you come up with the name, the Greene
Oh,
Street?
yeah.
We had been scheming, and like brainstorming names for a while, like months before, I think.
We were, the joinery is the word that was sort of like the key to it. We were looking
Sure.
for some sort of word that would connotate what we did. There's woodwork, there's woodcraft, there's all the common ones. And I don't know, did I come up with joinery? I mean, I know I watch a lot of British television, and that's the term that they use over in Britain a lot.
Right.
I think so. Yeah, we wanted something that people would understand, but it was also a little more obscure.
Wasn't just cabinet company or cabinetry.
Yeah. And then Greene, is like the Greene brothers, Greene and Greene, the famous American designers, architects, and also Greene in the sense of like we wanted to try and do things sustainably, and the idea that we're going to build something and it's going to be there for 100 years rather than you buy it from Amazon and in 2 years it's in a dumpster somewhere.
Right.
It's very unsustainable sort of practice. And then I think like the deciding factor was I'm driving to Tom's one day, and this is after Rob was already gone, and I'm a big Steely Dan fan, and in the song Peg, I think it is, he goes down to Greene Street, and I'm like, I'm like, that's just like too perfect. I'm like, that's that's the one. It was like a sign, I think.
Well, it's cool. There's a lot of thought that was put into it.
Yeah, and it kind of rolled off the tongue a little bit, the green and the street, the longies.
Yeah, the street we were playing with like a word like that, street, so it was, I don't know. Yeah, we did. We probably put way too much thought into it. Because now it's just confusing, and like I never get emails because Greene has an E at the end.
You make me feel bad, just RT,
Well, in our world, it seems like every company is just 2 letters and then woodworking.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
When Greene Street Joinery comes up, we all know, not just because of the podcast and the relationship there, but we all know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Makes it easy for us, if nothing else.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and among certain people, we were known as the Greene Street Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nicknames will come as you
Yeah.
move along.
That's the way it goes.
My mother-in-law did the logo and everything. I think she did a great job.
Yeah, it looks great.
We wanted, like, the Tree of Life was something that we talked about. And, with social media, like a circle, all of the avatars are in a circle now. So it's like we wanted something that would fit nicely in that. So we have this logo, and then we have the more rectangular logo. I think we tried to make a focus on the branding of the company as we create it, because it's so important. The social media, the branding, Because you see all of these like fakers who are doing really well, and the only reason why is because they have really good branding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and they're really not creating anything
Right.
other than a piece of
Content.
content that
Yeah.
really has no ending, as I would call it.
Yeah.
yeah, they create a persona, and they're selling this persona. So if you can have both, if you can do the thing and have the persona or the brand, it's all the better.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah, there's the origin story.
Yeah.
Nice.
very cool.
Awesome.
So we're coming up on 4 years next month.
And building very nicely upon the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
A
trying.
little help from you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're glad to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
That was all just dumb luck phone call and walking into Tom's shop with Lou.
Yeah. Got to thank Lou for that.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that all happened instantly.
Yeah.
it did.
Like, it was just totally crazy that day because I was in there and I'm up on the loft in the sawdust and taking pictures of used equipment that he had. And, one of the machine dealers snuck in the door. And while I was there, and I was like, hey, introduce myself. This is Brian RT Machine. And his face was like all red.
Who?
Who is this guy?
There's a new sheriff in town.
So, yeah, exactly.
You work in security for RT?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. For those that have never seen Brian.
He like pulls Tom aside. He's like, Tom, do you owe this guy money? You owe somebody money?
Maybe that's why I'm off this last couple of weeks. I'm scaring people walking in the door.
Well, yeah, we should talk about the how we met you, because if people haven't listened to our podcast, I don't think you guys talked about it on here, did you?
No, I don't
we
think no.
didn't. No.
So yeah, we get a call from our buddy Lou, who's the foreman at the shop where we used to work, and he says, "Hey, this guy just came in, Brian, and he's looking at a couple of machines over here. I told him that because we had this edge banner, we bought a 1996 Optimat at auction for $650. It was like a total gamble. We had our eyes on this Holzer, and it went for, I forget, more than we were willing to spend.
A pittance now in comparison, but
it was like went for like 7 or 10,000, and we weren't, we hadn't moved into the new shop yet. We went from. We're assuming that people know these things. We were in an 800 square foot shop behind Rob's house, a pole barn, and we had just signed a lease for this new 5,000 square foot shop that we're in now. So we were looking for an edge bander and a slider, and there was on the auction site there was a slider, a Minimax, and a Holzer edge bander that we were going to bid on. So the Holzer went off first and sold. We got up past our budget, and we're like, all right, we got to tap out. We got to save some money for the slider. So there was an Optimat that came up, 1996. So we ended up getting that for $650. And anyway, we never could really get it to work. So Lou was on the lookout for a machinery tech for us. And you came into the shop, and then Lou called me, and he said, yeah, this guy Brian's here. I'm going to give you his number. So I called you, and then you're like, I'll be there in a half hour.
That's how it all started.
Yes.
It's like, today you're coming over? Yeah, I'm coming over today. I'll be
Yeah.
there right as I leave here.
Because we had called a couple other places, and they they didn't want to give us a time of day. We just wanted somebody to look at the machine and basically tell us, is this thing worth even...
Can you fix it?
Yeah, is it worth even wasting our time with?
Right.
Which Brian pretty much
Well, I
told
was
us
trying to
that it
give
was
an honest opinion, and
Yeah.
we did weigh out. You could wrestle through with it.
Yeah, we could tell right away. I mean, the first thing is he's got the hood up, his head's in there, he's getting dirty, and he got it working a little bit. I mean, as good as it had ever worked.
Yeah, in 30 seconds, better than we had ever gotten.
And
Literally.
he didn't try and sell us anything.
Yeah.
We talked about trying to fix this machine,
Right.
and
Right.
that's really where Brian's focus was. He didn't say, yeah, let's forget about this machine. Let's look over here at this other machine.
Right.
So we just hit it off right away. I mean, we could just...
It kind of flowed. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you could just tell. It's like, this guy's, he's real.
Yeah, he's worked on a few edge banders.
Yeah, just a few over the years.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't have the sleazeball salesman. We have we don't work with too many companies, so I won't name names. But
I know exactly what
Yeah.
you're thinking of.
some of them come in and it's like, man, just like, can you just lay off the salesman thing for like, just talk to me like a real guy. You know? It's like,
right.
I'm gonna buy stuff from you. Just educate me on what you have. And we tell that to all the salespeople that we deal with. It's like, listen, we buy from everybody. You just need to tell us what you have so that we know that we can buy it. You know what I mean? Like if I don't know what you have, then we can't buy it from you.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have a scripted line.
No.
They're like, oh, look at this. Oh, from that other company, those are no good. They're working in the past, but it's like, well, we kind of know. You know?
Yeah, they go right to that.
That's
right to
BS.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we knew we wanted an edge bander to take the company in this new, growth direction. And we weighed out a couple of possibilities. There was a nice used machine.
Yep.
And it's the biggest investment the company's ever made.
Yeah.
So
More
it
so
was-
than
it
our
was-
van.
Yeah, it was no easy decision.
Yeah, when you're jumping to that next level, it's
Yeah.
scary. Just like that first day of sending that.
Rent check. Because we didn't have any rent at, Rob owned the old shop, so.
Yeah, and it was really Brian that made that whole thing work for us,
Yeah.
And he's really reinforced that, and you guys at RT have reinforced that decision this whole time. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been nothing but good news the whole
Good.
time.
Yeah,
Good.
we haven't
Glad to
had
could do it. Yeah.
any doubt or, any sense of regret,
Yeah,
going
no
that
buyer's
direction.
remorse at
Good.
all.
No.
That's good. That's the way we like it.
I know the listeners of our podcast have heard us, talk about you guys
Right.
quite a bit, and the whole thing is the relationship. It's the service end of things because you can buy a machine, but especially an edge bander is if you open up those hoods. I mean, it's a very intimidating
A
machine.
lot going on in those.
And as they say, I mean, even the $100,000 and $200,000 machines, something will go wrong with them.
That's right. Absolutely.
Just give it enough time.
Yeah, and being relative novices with, edge banders, we ran an edge bander at the old shop, but it was one edge bander, it was set up. There was no maintenance schedule, so that wasn't something that we were, privy to. It was basically just you set your thickness of material and edge banding, and that was it. We never learned to adjust any of the cutters or anything. It just wasn't part of the workflow there at the shop.
No tuning whatsoever.
Right.
No.
So we, for all intents and purposes, we had zero knowledge of
Right.
edge banders,
We just knew you stuck something in at one end and it came out.
Something
the other.
came out the other end, right?
What comes out the other end is usually what.
Depends on what's going on in the middle, right?
It's not like the Sahisa, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's well, you can contest to it now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we've shown that machine off quite a bit. To anybody that will listen to us.
And we've run it, through some pretty, difficult edge banding situations, I think. Those thick edge bandings,
that-
tall and thick edge bandings.
That first day, we ran it through its paces with all your
Oh, yeah.
production work, and
Yeah, it was like 6 hours of
We
just
did almost
edge
3
banding.
rolls of
Yeah.
edge banding that day.
But like
that was a fun startup day, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I got it tuned up enough, and hey, let's run it. Let's go.
Those clients are over the moon. They just did it was like a Hunter Douglas showroom and window treatment. So they had all their sample books on these like rickety old, I don't know, they were like red oak plywood,
really ratty.
like golden oak stained plywood shelves and stuff. So we ripped those out. We put in these new melamine shelving units that matched all the new Hunter Douglas stuff that they got. So they just had a ribbon cutting for the new showroom, and they said everybody was like going crazy over it.
So you guys do anything from commercial, like you're talking about, to residential furniture? I think you said
Yep. Yeah, we say as long as the money's green,
you'll
do it.
and it's wood. You'll
Yeah.
make it, right?
Yep.
Nice.
well, no, I mean we've done metal sculpture,
Oh, have you?
metal and glass cabinetry. We've welded. Jeff designed this beautiful. It's probably still one of our most unique things, if not, the most unique. It was this metal, what was it, 2-inch square tubing?
Yep.
And
With floating tempered glass panels.
Yeah.
And wood. It was a wine storage, so it had 2 big double doors at the top and 2 at the bottom, with these horizontal oak wine bottle holders, and everything else was powder coated steel and floating tempered glass. It was really cool. And then the client sold the house like a few months later and moved to Florida.
They never got to enjoy it
Yeah.
very much. Huh?
And the new owners wanted to get rid of it apparently.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Huh.
But
Wow.
not everybody's got taste. Yeah, that was cool. We had a piece of that glass explode. A piece of tempered glass, like 50 by 28, in the shop.
While we were holding it, we were putting it in place, and it just
exploded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gases were still built up inside it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, and then it damaged the powder coating. So then it had to go back to the powder coater. We had to get a new piece of glass.
Of course it did.
Yeah, little nicks,
Yeah, obviously we contacted the designer that was with an interior designer, that job, and told her what happened. I'm like sending her pictures. I'm like, listen, we can try and touch it up, but you will be able to see it. If you're looking for it, you'll be able to see it. I'm like, what do you want to do? So she came to the shop, and we're like, all right, let's just send it back to the powder coater.
Yep.
Yeah.
Once and done.
That's it.
I always said if you had to think about it twice,
Yeah.
you got to redo it.
Yeah.
And we're the worst. We see everything.
Oh, that's the hardest part in the fabrication. It's just
Yeah.
like your nose is on top of the whole project, so you know where everything's at. And
We were over at Lewis Lumber, and we're like, what's wrong with that stack of wood over there? You got the skids are in the wrong place. You can't help it. It's a disease.
But that's what separates, I feel like people who do things the right way and not the right way is you have to be a little bit psychotic, about these things.
Yeah.
That's what my therapist says.
Yeah. I'll take their word for it.
we always had big signs in our shop on beams and everywhere else. It was pride in quality.
Yeah.
Man, that was the culture that we built. That if it's not right, tear it apart.
Yeah. It was, it was that sort of feeling. Even when we worked at somebody else's place, that doesn't go away. We weren't happy to work to his standards. We wanted to work to our standards,
Right.
which were higher.
Yeah.
I have like no greater fear than disappointing the client because I'm constantly
True.
disappointing myself. Nothing leaves the shop perfect. It's just the reality.
Right.
So I'm never satisfied with what's leaving the shop. We understand that the client has a different expectation, which is lower than ours, 99.99% of the time. But yeah, like to even think about the client being like, what is this? It's like terrifying.
That's a horrifying thought because we show up with something almost every time it didn't exist except as a figment of someone's imagination. We draw it, we build it, and they see it come to life for the first time. And, there's always this sort of anxiousness as you're putting it in. It's like, they have to be
You're
blown
unveiling.
away. Yeah, otherwise we're not happy.
And, we put so much into it. All our literal blood, sweat, and tears, go into these projects. I mean, we've had jobs that we work on for months. Like the confessionals were like a multi-month project.
Yeah.
You deliver this thing that's got hundreds of hours of your hard work into it and stress and, planning, and to disappoint the client with all that on the line, it's like,
Yeah, especially when the client is St. Anthony's of Padua.
Not one you want to disappoint, right?
Luckily we're in the good graces.
It's not storming out when we're walking out the door, is it? Yeah.
What are all those black birds all over, man?
Yeah. That's great. Tell us about your field trip early this morning.
Oh, over to Lewis.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. We'd heard of, is it Keith?
Keith, yeah.
On podcast number 2, the RT Machinery podcast. And as I was telling you, Brian, earlier, on the surface description, it doesn't sound as enthralling, and maybe that's, I don't know.
Right.
We're wood nerds, so
Right.
it was for us. It's like, oh yeah, we have Lewis from Lewis Lumber Company, and we're like, all right. But that was such a great episode. I mean, not only is he a good guest, good talker, and everything else, but just the information that he provided was really cool.
Very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith's been at it such a long time and just a wealth of knowledge in the industry. And
The
I thought he
kiln
explained
drying
stuff
and
very
things.
well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we learned a couple cool things on that.
Yeah. So we went over there this morning before we got here. And
we did about like a 90-minute tour.
He called it the 25-cent tour.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the extra.
Yeah, we only did nickel tours.
That's what
here.
we're used to.
Yeah.
The nickel tour. But yeah, I mean, we love seeing, because we have, we go to a place like that and we're like, man, we're small time, and we don't claim to be big time. We are small time. It's just two of us. But we have aspirations of growing the business and getting to, progressing into this more industrial sort of space, while still maintaining like this quality. But to go and meet with people who have done that exact thing, it's great information for us, and it's really cool to see, all these big machines and the way that they're doing things, just like the productivity, things that they do in order to create productivity and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, some of these factories get really large that we go into, and sometimes you're amazed. Guy says he's doing 10,000 kitchen cabinet doors a day, and where are they going?
Yeah.
We have
Like,
he's just-
how many kitchens?
And
are
he's
there?
just one of our customers that does
Yeah.
that many. It's crazy.
And then
Yeah.
we come here and we start looking at these machines like, that I keep forgetting the name of the press that you guys are working on.
The Hardland laminator?
Yeah, I mean, that would fill our entire shop,
Yeah.
basically,
Probably would.
And, that's just like a drop in the well for somebody that has that machine. That's
Right.
just one component of many that.
Yeah, those
create this.
like companies like that, they have multiple factories. They actually do. They have Virginia and Indiana, different states even. So they're a big company.
It's pretty fascinating. It was a really nice peek behind the curtain too, to see, a little bit about the business from Keith's angle.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I was kind of shocked to learn is the markup is so tight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But of course, everybody thinks that about everybody else's business.
Yeah.
Except us. They think we're making like millions of dollars.
Yeah, right.
You're on the flip side of it.
Yeah.
When they come back with these ridiculous offers, you give them a price and they want it for half off.
Yeah, there's like this running thing amongst our
yeah.
friends and colleagues. Are like, oh, I wish we had Greene Street money. It's like we don't have any money. Why do you think we have all these tools? It's all spent. It's gone. We're trying to.
Yeah, they call it Greene Street money. We're like, yeah, all right.
If you knew what we took home every week, we're trying to
That peanut butter and
reinvest.
jelly's looking pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's literally my lunch every day, peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, and I don't eat lunch.
And he doesn't even have lunch.
Oh,
You stepped out today then, huh?
Oh, yeah. Today was big time.
Yeah.
That was good though.
Yeah.
What was it? Original Italian pizza.
Pizza, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
good,
OIP.
Yeah, it was good.
they do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Their breads and stuff are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it yours? No, the guy wasn't
The
named
other
Cody.
guy. Yeah.
Cody, yeah.
That his bread on his sandwich looks good. Yeah. It's like a ciabatta kind of thing.
Yeah, so for folks that don't know, we drove about 3 hours, 15 minutes
Yep.
from home to get here today. Definitely worth the trip. I mean, it wasn't that bad either.
No. No traffic.
and,
It's a nice scenic drive through the Poconos mostly.
It's fun being here. I mean, we met Ron and Brian before, so it's sort of like, very comfortable.
Yeah.
It's sort of like we,
know us
we've
already.
been here,
Yeah, right.
even though we hadn't.
Right.
Keith too. We hit it off, immediately.
Yeah, he's very personable.
It's
Oh,
funny
yeah.
because we walked into the storefront and I'm like, he's like, oh, can I help you? I'm like, I think Keith is expecting us, and he's like, go upstairs, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. And I went to the office, and a woman came up, and I was like, I think Keith is expecting us, and she kind of gave me the same response. I was like, what the hell? I was like, I'm like, does he not know we're coming? I'm like, because I knew Brian had spoken to him, but then Keith came out, and he was like, oh man, he's like, because he worked at Rex Lumber, which is
Yeah.
one of our local lumber suppliers whom we don't do any business with, just by happenstance. But
Did he listen to any of your podcasts since he knew you were coming, or did you tell him about theirs?
I don't think so.
You know what? Cody had talked to him, so I don't know.
Oh,
if he,
Cody introduced. Okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe he sounded like maybe he had, or he said he went to the website.
Yes, he went.
Okay.
He checked out our work.
Yeah, but Rex is a big supplier in our area.
Oh yeah.
A bunch of buddies that we have use Rex,
Yeah.
and they have good prices and stuff. You know, we buy our wood from O'Shea, and you know, we've had a good relationship with them. We've been really happy with the quality. Like, we've never gotten a bad batch of wood from O'Shea. It's always exceeds our expectations, I'd say, for the
Yeah.
most part.
Good. That's
Yeah.
excellent.
But Lewis was nice. We had to give them a shot.
You have to give him a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Right. I mean, it all comes down to price at the end of the day. So we got to see
Sure.
what they can.
Yeah.
And the relationship, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think they're running out your way quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of work going on in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
So,
Big market over there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people got to get their wood from somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah. And the local, you know, like I don't know what you would call them, like a walk-in lumberyard.
Yeah, yeah.
The prices are just, you know, it's retail pricing. We
Right.
can't.
It is.
We can't pay $18 a board foot for walnut, or we needed a small amount of soft maple. We paid $10 a board foot
Wow.
for soft maple. You know, O'Shea, it was about $6. But, you know, we have minimums to hit when they have to drive 4 hours to
Sure.
get to us. So we need to buy, you know, 100 board feet of each line.
Yeah.
And, you know, minimum 200 or 300 board feet. So,
Yeah, sometimes that makes it difficult to
yeah.
Yeah, because
fit it in.
When there's extra money in the bank account,
Yeah.
you know, we don't mind having
Putting
some
on
extra
the shelf,
wood,
yeah.
put it up on the shelf. But, you know, sometimes things are tighter than.
the other thing is that, like, a lot of the new types of projects we're doing are calling for different materials, and there might be just a smaller amount of hardwood
Yeah.
needed, where that used to be like, you know, 75% of the job was hardwood.
Yeah, frame inset hardwood, you know, book match panel doors. Now,
We're getting some commercial work. Obviously, they're going to want some, you know, different types of materials,
Right.
more sheet stock, and that's where the edge bander came in.
Yep.
yeah,
The only thing to complete that little triumvirate of power would be the Streebig.
oh,
Yeah, we're working on that. I said, yeah.
that was a good segue.
Yeah. I saw that one coming. Huh?
That was a softball pitch.
I thought he was going to say a Dow board machine.
Yeah, with your slider, you could really use that.
Yeah, yeah, that slider. We'll set that out on the curb.
Yeah,
You guys had some pretty good videos, though, to send for the contest.
Yeah, I saw one of them
Yeah.
on your Instagram.
yeah. I think we put out about half a dozen. They were all pretty lighthearted and sort of humorous. And then on the last day, we did like a real, you know, like, this is who we are. This is why we want to win the Street Big. So if you're from Colonial Saw and you're listening, we
Yeah.
would really like to win that Street Big.
Yes, we have the place for it. We have the power for it. We have
It's already all set up. I was going to do is get over there and move it in.
use for it. Yes, there's tape on the floor where it goes.
You're not trying to win it to sell it. You're
No.
going to use it.
Oh,
You're,
yeah.
gonna,
Oh,
you're
God,
definitely going
no.
to use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the big thing, too, is the extended relationship with putting that saw in.
Yeah.
They want somebody that's promoting the business and
Oh, yeah.
their
Right.
machinery.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, you know, with your podcast, our podcast, you know, the outreach through Instagram and the videos and stuff.
Yeah,
that-
we have the platform.
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's what it's all about. It's just not that
Right. It's not.
we're just going to
you're-
put one video out and why
forget
we
it.
want it. This
Yeah.
is where this unit really should be to keep promoting the product.
Yeah, yeah, and again, anybody who's followed us knows that we're pretty passionate about the relationships that we develop. You know,
Yeah.
like with you guys, we're always talking about it because it's worth sharing. You know, it's not just some sort of shameless promotion. It's something that we feel actually helps other people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and
like
that's
if
what-
we could turn them on to you guys, that's a bonus.
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And it's not like we just want to win the Street Big because it's free. You know what I mean? like we actually believe in the product. You know,
Right.
you've
Yeah.
told us, and from all of our own independent research, like this is the vertical panel saw, and we're running out of space in the shop as it is already, like only like 8 months in. So like, to get rid of a machine that's being extremely ineffective in the slider that we have, and to be able to pick up the floor space and all the other advantages of the machine.
Yeah, it's a good fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know of Strebig before Brian talked to you, or
No.
no? You didn't know about vertical saws, really, or
We knew that they existed, but more in like the speed safe or whatever they are, sort of.
Oh,
style.
safety
speed.
yeah,
Yeah. Just like you're
Yeah.
at the lumber yard.
yeah, you see those at
Yeah.
the lumber yards.
Not something with this sort
This
of
is a much
accuracy
different- yeah, much
and,
different
and
machine.
build
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah, they're literally a full-on precision machine.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, and this one I think has all the digital readouts and everything. And I think this doesn't have it, but I think you can integrate Mosaic directly into the machine.
Yeah, when you get into our Evolution series, now you can run it as a full-on automatic panel saw. So just like a horizontal, you can go full-on vertical with the full automatic.
That's great.
It has grippers and everything from the top. It actually grabs the panel, holds the panel, and slices the boards, and the operator's taking the boards off.
Wow.
Yeah.
That last video that Colonial Saw put out of the guy with the slider and then running the Strebig, that was a really good video. It really highlighted, the
Well, and that guy
downside.
was a really good slider operator.
Yeah.
So that was, but like he was saying at the very end, the fatigue.
Yeah, muscling those sheets around, and when you're working with like veneer
Yeah.
plywood, you have to be so careful. You don't want to drag it.
And we're working with melamine a lot more now, doing these commercial jobs and stuff, and it's so heavy. I mean, it's like
There's
what?
no way around it.
Yeah.
85 pounds a sheet or something,
Yeah.
maybe more. And okay, so we just are pricing out now like a 30 sheet melamine job. Like that's a lot of all that cutting is going to happen in one day. That's a lot of moving sheets around.
I'll bet. Yeah.
That's nothing to Brian. He's pumping 405 over there.
Yeah. Not yet.
He's working on it. Yeah.
That's my goal. Eric over here is keeping me going.
Where are the duck eggs?
Yeah, we're the duck eggs. Dean's our supplier on that side. He's our.
You guys
He's our
aren't
dealer.
staying what?
Yeah.
You aren't staying around to go to the gym afterwards?
I rode my little elliptical bike this morning.
You're good.
That would
actually
literally
was.
kill me.
That's what I did my rowing machine this morning. I'm not going back with these guys.
I was literally doing a takeoff on that. So Dan sent the drawings over. I'm doing a takeoff on hinges and slides as I'm on the thing. Like had my phone and a notepad. I'm like, this is like the most awkward thing ever.
Need to use the talking text.
Yeah, start your own business. They said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is at like 4:30 in the morning. Too.
Yeah, last night I was on the bike in the shop in the back, and somebody texted me from the company here, and I was trying to answer him, but I was so sweaty that it wouldn't register the button.
Yeah, Eric and I are usually like the dripping sweat at the end of
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ryan usually has like a dot on his shirt.
Is that right?
Oh, did you just drip water on yourself?
Rob is drenched by like 7:45.
Yeah, especially if we're on site, and then it's really awkward because then I become sort of like the greasy foreigner. There was one installation in particular where they had this like lime washed walls, and I was like leaving marks. I mean, talk about embarrassing. Like, oh my God, I'm disgusting.
Well, we were installing a 9x9 made out of 5/4 oak 9x9 box beam, 36 feet long, 14 feet in the air with two guys.
Standing on ladders.
Wow.
Holding
On that,
one
on that
hand.
last step, it says "Do not step."
We had the Baker scaffold too high, two sections high, and then a 12-foot step ladder.
Yeah. Oh man.
You need to keep the 12-pack of shirts with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But like my arms are just you're dripping. It's coming off your elbows.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
It's
Need like the sweatband
Yeah.
above the sleeve.
I'm that guy. It's like years ago, my wife, Jeff's wife is into yoga. She's like a yoga master, really. And my wife introduced me to hot yoga. And so I'm going to hot yoga, and you could only imagine the literal pool of water. And you're just looking around. It's like, is everybody looking at me?
You need like that
Slipping
whole
off the
like
mat.
mini blow up pool. That,
Yeah.
Okay, Rob's going to be in this
He's going to
one.
be in the pool.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's good to know we're not the only ones. Bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, Eric and I are like disgusting coming out
It's-
there. It's
it's
like there's no
terrible.
way you can't even like. You just feel like a
Yeah.
walking.
Shirt won't come off at the end.
Yes, it's all stuck and everything. Yeah, peeling it off.
We've had that bad heat, and we just installed a kitchen, our first sort of kitchen with this new, way of going about it that we're hoping to continue with, at least for some of our work, where we have everything cut CNC, we buy the doors, and then just put everything together and install it. But we're in this house and there's no air conditioning. We don't have air conditioning in the shop either, but it was that stint of days where it was like 100 something degrees, and it was bad. It was real bad.
You put your hand down to like write, and you're erasing the pencil mark because of the water.
How did that was the first time you subbed out?
Yeah, we had
Pieces.
never purchased doors before. That was the first time.
Yeah, and it's a great addition to what we can do and what we can offer clients.
Yeah.
Because it changes the price point.
Yes.
It's what a lot of folks actually want, especially designers, because they're familiar with the lines that these door companies create. They know the finishes, they know the styles.
Yeah.
And we put the Sahisa through its paces, you know.
90 minutes we edge banded that whole job.
That was a big job from the pictures I saw.
Yeah, it was.
It was 21 boxes, individual boxes, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate areas. What was it, 30 sheets? Mm-hmm. 30 sheets of plywood.
Now that one, you guys, did you do the design work on that one and then send it to him to machine?
Yes, but he sort of does his own. He wasn't like taking the mosaic and running it right off of that. He
Okay.
does his own programming.
Yeah.
Because he's using Rhino, I think. But, I think we'll probably get to a point where we are able to at least send him the mosaic and he can go off of that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We need some mosaic training, that's for sure.
Yeah. We know the basics.
Next time I'm through, I'll show you.
All right.
I can poke around that program pretty good.
Yeah, we were talking to Dan, the guy that did some drawings for us yesterday, about coming in and sitting down with us and doing some
Yeah, some real.
instructing.
Yeah, the trainers with them is pretty good too.
Yeah, we got you get like a free hour when you buy Mosaic. You have to do a 3-month trial, which was good. But there's something about like actually sitting down with someone looking over your shoulder. That's
Yeah, don't do that. I didn't say click. Don't do that. Why did you click?
if you're a tactile learner like we are, where we work with our hands, so it's like this is what we know. So it's like I need somebody there.
Yeah. That's how I learned SketchUp actually 100 years ago.
With having somebody right there.
Yeah, I found somebody who needed some work done who did that for a living, and he taught me how to use SketchUp design in his job, and then I built it for him. And we'd meet at the diner, and we would go through it, and that's what kind of got me over that initial hurdle, because I can't pick things up like Jeff can, like by watching a video.
Yeah.
It must be my age and the way, some of it's how you're used to learning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I always say that. However you're used to, like audio. There goes the birds on me. I'm like, what did you say?
Audiobook, I'm listening, and then I'm thinking about something else.
That's
and I'm
right.
like, what the hell? I'm like, we're 2 chapters past where that was the last good barter you had.
It was.
So we had a real sour experience recently.
You're right, though. You're absolutely 100% right. That was the only barter that ever worked out fair.
Well, I think in any type of barter like that, you always have to spell it out as what it would cost what's it going to cost me to do the job and to sell it to you?
Yep.
And
And
what am I
then,
getting for it?
yeah. And
Yeah,
then you have to break your labor
valuation.
out of it and the materials and say, okay,
Yeah.
here's what we're trading. Or just go even up and, hey, I'll write you a check. You write me a check.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you give someone a deal, I learned that too. It's like, so we built a table for a buddy of mine who owns a restaurant. And it was like right in the very beginning of the company, we wanted to get the name out there. So we were sort of doing it, A, because he's my friend and we want to do him a favor, but B, as like a promotional sort of thing. So what I did is like I wrote up an invoice with what it would have cost and then like discount, so it's like he only paid for the material, but it's like I wanted there to be knowledge of like what went into building this thing.
Right.
But yeah, the barter went hard. We bartered with an electrician to run the electric in the new shop, and it was
We were sort of in a difficult spot because we just moved into the building, and the cost of electrifying the shop space was astronomical.
yeah.
It runs up so quick.
It was 13,000 just in material, and we paid for all the material.
Yeah.
And we paid his helper, and he did the work. He probably had about 50 hours of labor, and then we built an entire closet in the attic on the third story, and paid for all that material too. We probably have, I don't even know, 250 hours.
Yeah, I was going to guess 300 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It's like we basically built out his attic as a walk-in room with all cupboards and closets and benches and drawers and
That's a big project.
And it's
Yeah.
a hip roof, so we have all this geometry. It was the hardest thing I ever drew in Fusion 360 was trying to draw this attic, and you can't even like really navigate within the drawing. You have to hide everything else to try and look at one thing because it's all just intersecting. It's crazy.
And what about the sheetrock work up there?
They had some random guys, do the sheetrock and the flooring and the painting, and it was like, you're working over top of like the worst possible conditions. Third floor in an old house, the stairways are 24 inches wide, and there's a low ceiling. We're carrying all this stuff up there. It was brutal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Learned that lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we had our electrician kind of phone in with you guys when it was that on the compressor?
That was on a
Yeah.
soft starter for the compressor. He saved the day.
Yeah, he was the golden goose.
Literally saved the day on us.
Dan's a good guy. Dan Stewart.
We found that the compressor draws an enormous amount when it starts up.
Yeah.
And the Sahisa was detecting this drop in voltage, and warnings would come up, and it would shut itself down so it wouldn't get damaged.
Which is good that it, is able to sense that.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, now what?
Yeah. Because it was, on delivery day, we realized that, there was some sort of typo on the spec sheet. I think like a translation error with the CFM. So it's like we thought that the compressor we had was enough CFM, like it was like just enough. But then it turned out that we had nowhere near enough air. So we went through this, like, I don't even know, 2 or 3 week
Oh yeah,
process of looking. No, maybe more. I don't know. We were looking for a compressor, and we were strapped for cash at the time because the move and this barter. We were sinking all this time into just trying to get that out the door. So we didn't want to spend a lot of money. So we were like looking for something used. We went and looked at a couple real junkers that we had to just pass on, but finally found this super clean Quincy, actually out in Harleysville, Pennsylvania. That was a backup for a screw compressor in a shop, and who ended up moving or something, and we got it for about half a retail. So we thought like all of our problems were over. We pipe it in, fire up the edge bander.
As you guys are all stuck in the snowball going down the hill,
oh my god,
picking up dollars, but the other way, it's
Yeah,
All right.
Just
it was a
flying.
gut punch.
Yeah,
It was like, oh hell.
yeah. That was one of those months where it's like we got to get paid on this job today, otherwise the rent check is gonna, it's gonna overdraw the account. So yeah, and then just trying to find a soft start, and we were gonna
Nobody knew exactly. Nobody wanted to commit to
Yeah.
what to actually do, what soft start to get for one, and then how to hook it up.
Yeah, we were going to go the VFD route, and then, the guy that we were going to get the VFD from, I heard some bad things about, so then we were like, Quincy said that you can't use the soft starter. And
Right.
So it was just,
Conflicting information coming
Yes.
from all angles.
And we're in this position where, we just moved into this big shop. This is all very new stuff to us, we're like in over our head, and we're just like getting deeper and deeper in like a knowledge way. I mean, like, having to learn all these new things, like what kind of soft start do you need for a 7.5 horsepower 3-phase compressor, it becomes very stressful trying to figure all these things out.
Yep.
Yeah, and so we took a gamble on the soft start that we bought. Well, it was a couple $100, I think.
About $400.
Yeah. And so there's really no instruction. There's like a little schematic, but nothing that really matches what's coming out of the Quincy. So, I kept going back and forth to the panel and just shutting it off, wiring up a couple of things, then turning it back on. See what
That's some risky stuff there.
Well, there was a bit of a
Jeff's standing behind you with the 2x4 ready to smack you off with the electrical.
So we got to, after like maybe about 2 hours or so,
like finally a light came on.
Yeah, I got like a little light to come on, and I was like, I can hear something in there like clicking on, but we couldn't get that last step.
Yeah.
That's when we called you, and you put us in touch with Dan, and he gave us that last bit of information. He's like, try this and this.
But what happened is he did that, and you changed the wiring, and and it was like, it doesn't work. But the compressor was full.
Yes.
So it wasn't kicking on because it wasn't
Didn't need air.
right.
Yeah.
So then we pulled some air out, and then it finally kicked on. We're
Yeah.
like, oh, thank God.
And it's been long enough now, it's working where I believe it works.
Yeah.
But for a long time, every time it'd come on, I'm like, stay on, stay
Waiting
on.
for smoke.
Yeah. Because, anything you do for the first time, you think,
And it started to rain when we were bringing it home with the plastic over top. I had to put it in the back of my pickup because it's too tall for the van. The van's only the door is 72 inches, I think, and this thing it's probably close to 7 feet tall.
yeah, it's
pretty
big. It's big.
So yeah, we're worried about did the motor get wet, and it was like
Yeah.
just getting kicked while you're down.
You made it to the other side, though.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We did. We're starting to come out. We used to say when we were working on that electrician's attic, we used to refer to the light at the end of the tunnel. Because there were some days we'd leave, a little dejected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like a train almost the whole time. The light.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's working out, though. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
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 Sounds good.
Bander's working good. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
great.
heard you guys on the podcast this morning. Got the new laser.
Yeah.
Yes, we got a 64 by 40, 150 watt laser. We haven't hooked it up yet. We're contractually obligated to create some content around this thing. We didn't pay for the laser. We got it as a sponsorship, I guess you would call it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Whose is it?
Monport is the name of the company. It's a Chinese company. These CO2 lasers, like there's a couple domestic companies like Trotec and Epilog, I think, are the two big ones that make CO2 lasers. They're incredibly expensive. They're like $20,000, $30,000. This is like an $8,000 machine. But yeah, we signed on for like 12 YouTube videos, 12 Instagram posts, 52 Instagram reels, and we have to do a video with it in it on our buddy John. I think, did you meet John the one day?
John Peters.
John Peters?
No, he was supposed to be coming, and he didn't make it that day.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, on John's channel, he did a video. We make these boxes, twice a year. We make these finger jointed boxes. They're for salt, for cooking. And it's for a charity, No Kid Hungry. And it's under the names of these two famous chefs, Kenji Lopez and Brad Leone. So we manufacture them for these guys. And $25 from every box is donated to No Kid Hungry. So I think with this pre-sale that just happened, we're at, is it $58,750
Wow.
has been donated. Where was I going with this? Oh, so John made a video the first time around, and it was a really popular video. It got like 500,000 views, and it was like titled like $100,000 laser project because we did 1,000 of these boxes that sell for $100.
Oh.
Not that we're getting 100.
Yeah, right.
Right.
You know,
That's the Greene
Yeah.
Street money that everyone refers to.
That's why they think you have money.
yeah, 25 of it is already going to the charity, so there's only 75 left over, and obviously they need to make a cut too.
Right.
So we're not making anywhere near 100. So I use that sort of as a selling point to this company. We were looking for a bigger laser, and I figured, you know what, let's try and see if we can work with a company and get, you know, a discount or get the tool for free in air quotes, because it's going to be a lot of work
Yeah.
to create all these videos and stuff. Maybe not quite 8,000, but I think
It's time consuming.
Yeah.
You guys know you're doing this podcast now.
Right.
Yeah, it takes
Social
time.
media takes time.
yeah.
It does.
And it also didn't cost Monport $8,000, so
Right.
it's, you know, it's a very equitable deal, I think. So yeah, it's going to help us make the boxes faster, because the laser that we had previously, which we still have, we haven't got rid of yet, we could only cut 4 boxes at a time. This one will fit 18, so
Oh, wow.
yeah,
It's a big step
That's
up.
a big difference.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge. It's
Then you
bigger
have
than-
other things you'll use it for?
Yeah, we make like patterns and stuff. It's good for that.
Okay.
So if you need to like build something with a curve, we've actually built like curved banquettes and stuff, and literally cut like the plates for the die walls on it. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't cut as fast as a CNC, but it's that like passive kind of thing anyway. You turn it on, and you could do something else while it's over there cutting these parts. So
Sure.
it's nice,
Yeah. Excellent.
but it's big. It's the size of like a California Queen mattress. The actual machine itself.
So this is blending into the new YouTube channel, Today's Craftsman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for
that's-
bringing that up.
Yeah.
You see how I put it, emphasizing men.
Not that we would be opposed to having any women on the show as a guest.
Oh no. Our most liked episode of the podcast ever features was our first female, well,
Yeah.
our only female guest.
Jacqueline
to date.
Isaac of Donnie Douglas Design.
So that
Yeah.
was your highest podcast, you said?
I don't know. I haven't like looked at the actual numbers, but I got more feedback
Okay.
or like messages and stuff on that than
You know,
any other.
She was good.
Yeah, men
She was
love
good.
listening to
The problem is she sounds much sexier than Ron
Yeah,
and I.
that's
are.
right. Yeah.
We were kind of handicapped right out of the
That's
gate.
right. Yeah.
I did get some
It
comments
was unfair.
to that.
Yeah.
Like,
I listen to podcasts. I'm like, holy shit. I got,
That was the thing. Is everyone, man, she sounds attractive.
she's lucky that she actually is attractive.
Yeah, she is.
She's great. She's
Super sweet girl too.
She's a
I
really
think it
good
was a
designer.
great mix,
Yeah,
you know, coming in and getting a different perspective from
Yeah.
her side of it.
yeah,
And you know, it brought a lot of things to light for her too. Maybe not on the podcast, but afterwards, you know, talking to her, because you know we chat in a friendly way outside of just like the talking about the project itself. But I'm like, you know, most designers like treat us like crap. You know, they think like that we don't know. They think that they're better than us, that they know more than us. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't value our opinion the way that she does.
Really?
And she was like, "Wow, really?" I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah." Like that's how it is with almost all of the designers.
Wow.
So now your buddy shops are going to be calling her, hey, how about what project do you have
Yeah.
going on there?
They were like, "Oh, if you need anybody in Brooklyn, let me know. If you know any designers, you know." We should. We were talking about having Lindsay.
Yeah.
She's another designer that we work with.
she's
Having her
another
on.
sweetie.
Yeah, she's good. She's quick. You know, she's
Yeah, she'd be a great guest too.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was definitely a good one. I enjoyed that one.
yeah, we're gonna start this channel. Oh, we started it actually.
Yeah, I
it'll be a YouTube channel with John Peters.
Last night, the 4th video released. So we're starting out with some of these like, you know, like 5 to 10 minute sort of like tool overview videos. The entire goal of the channel is to be like a great source of information, but without all the fluff, that you find on all these other YouTube channels where everybody's got we were talking to John about, like, everybody's like a clown these days. All these YouTube woodworking guys are like, it's all got to be like a joke all the time, and everything's like over the top. We just want to be like, just, concise, to the point, good information.
Come back to the Norm Abram days.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's how I grew up.
Me too.
This old house in the 70s, and we would come home from the shop and on a Saturday morning and working and make our bologna and cheese sandwiches. Me and my dad would be watching. Well, at that time it was This Old House.
Yeah.
New Yankee and This Old House is like exactly what we're trying to emulate.
Yeah,
and obviously New Yankee is gone. They just started putting all the episodes on YouTube, which was met with like a total fanfare. Like, people went crazy. And This Old House it's still around, but it's not.
It's morphed a little bit.
Yeah. So I think there's a real niche that we can fit into, and I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, John's great at filming, at editing and everything, and that's even part of our process is trying to edit out some of the fat. Like, we'll shoot a video and
trim it down to what makes sense for the.
Yeah, as a little aside, I happen to be lucky enough to meet Norm and work with him a little bit, and he is the most genuine and even more skilled than he appears on TV.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I couldn't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, I always enjoyed watching him. I thought he was the maker of the show.
He's the man.
Yeah.
He really is.
I mean, just the wealth of knowledge from full on rough construction to fine furniture is, and understanding the tooling and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was all really approachable stuff, It wasn't anything that, a normal hobby woodworker guy would be like, man, there's like no way I could do this.
Right.
It was all like, and he explained it in a way that made it very accessible. So I think that's something that we want to try and do is, make it.
Bring that back without all the. I actually can't stand after the DIY network or whatever it is.
Yeah.
To be on. Oh, and here's our clients, and he's a butterfly salesman, and
their budget's $10 million.
Yeah, and it's just like, really? It's just like right away I'm like, just shut up.
The eyes glaze over.
Yeah, it's just, I can't even take it.
We were actually being shopped for a TV show. We were under a shopping contract for a year, which just lapsed recently. Nothing ever came of it, but
yeah, it's tough to what they want to build into it.
Yeah,
in my view, as a hands-on type of guy, I don't want to listen to.
Yeah, you want somebody that has some gravitas.
Yeah, and we'll be right back as 6 crews 3 days later.
Yeah.
Do this up.
We had a film crew here for the what was that called?
The Prophet.
The Prophet.
Yeah.
Marcus Lemonis.
Yeah.
He was buying into a company in somewhere down in
Southeast
Lancaster.
PA. Yeah.
And they were looking for a place to film a CNC router. That's all they kept calling. Do you have a CNC router? And we had one. It was hooked up, ready to run in the showroom. And then they didn't hear from them for a couple months, and then they got you on the phone. Marcus talked to you. I'm coming to buy, right? I'm coming to buy. Mm-hmm. And they showed up with a camera crew and these people, and it was just for TV. He wasn't here to buy. Mm-hmm. He did end up buying a router. He bought from Styles. He bought some equipment, and then
isn't that how it goes?
and now they're out of business.
Yeah.
That's the funny part about it is the company's out of business.
Yeah.
Karma.
There's lawsuits going on between Marcus and the former owners of the company.
So we were on TV for what, 10 seconds or 15?
You were on TV for a couple of seconds, and then there was a shot of the logo, and no machinery, nothing.
So you could see the router in the background when we were standing out there by
I
it. But
guess
then they went through all the we had cleaned up the whole warehouse and stuff. And
it was like a week-long whirlwind process.
Yeah.
The producers started calling in here saying, like, it's going to happen, but we don't have a date yet. And then, the film crew showed up. They put a mic on, like, you and I think one of our techs, And then Marcus walked in. We didn't meet him at all before the filming
No.
started. And then bing, bang, boom, half
Yeah,
an
we
hour,
just
they were
kind of
gone.
shook his hand and stuff, and that was it. And then he was, he wanted prices and all this stuff was on there, and we gave him a number, and then we gave him a discount. And he looks at me and he said, "I'd like to tell you I'm not good at math, but I am." And he said, "You're not even giving me 10% or something like that." And I said, "Yeah, I can't," and he didn't want to hear that.
Like you're getting.
They
anything.
want everything for nothing.
Yeah.
They're like, thanks for letting us use this set for free.
Yeah,
That's
basically what it was.
exactly it.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, they hype everybody up, and it's almost like you got to stay out of the gates. Okay, here's what it's going to cost you to come up here. That's
That we just talked about this the other day. That's what happened. I got a call from one of those shows, and it was a 6-day schedule. They wanted a custom kitchen, and
In 6 days.
in 6
Oh,
days,
shoot, you
Yeah.
making it?
One man shop.
of course you did.
Yeah.
yes, one man shop in the small one,
Fixed
the 800 square footer. And the only thing that they could say was I could wear a shirt that had the name of my company on it.
And not that they would definitely show it, just
Right.
that you could wear
You
it.
could wear it.
Yeah,
That's not a joke.
You could wear it at home.
Right. And I said, even if I could possibly do it, if I called in every favor, if it was somehow physically possible to do this, it's like, you'd have to give me lines. There's no way I'm doing this without,
So
camera on the face.
Yeah.
I'm Rob
Yeah.
Barone from Barone Woodwork and blah, 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 blah. You can reach me here. Otherwise,
And it's not your target audience anyway.
No.
The HGTV viewer of whatever this 6-day thing
Right.
show isn't buying a $75,000
They're not.
handmade kitchen,
no, but it was quite an eye-opener. It was really funny.
yeah. A lot of it's. I want to really call it scam stuff. It really
Yeah.
is. They just try to use people to the best that they can do. And
So they can get those advertising dollars and they
Yeah.
make money.
yep.
On the flip side of that was that time that I was with Norm. It was out in Wyoming, and he came out a couple of days with the crew and the producer and everything. We had meals together. We hung out. He hung out with everybody that was there the whole time, not like just for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. He hung out with all of us
The real guy.
the whole time he was there.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought they were that was the beginning. They really set the precedence of
Yeah.
what was going to go on.
So in the new show, you're going to be teaching processes or machines or both, or what do you
good
teach?
question.
What do you? Yeah.
So the plan is to keep doing some of these like tool videos like that, and then we want to do obviously like tips and techniques. So yesterday we shot a video about we use a lot of times shelf pin inserts. So rather than it just being a hole in the plywood, we actually put a metal insert in to keep the the hole from getting worn out. So stuff like that where we show like a technique. Stuff with hardware, like we're going to shoot a video on Salice push to open hinges, for example. And then we want to do project videos. So we'll, design a project, we'll make a video around the design, and then build it, which may be multi-part, and we'll create plans for it, which will be for sale on the website. And then I think the idea is to have like a really in-depth, long-form video instructional on the website, also for purchase, maybe along with the plans or whatever. But we're hoping to get the old shop set up as sort of like a studio. So the shop at Rob's house is now just totally empty. Well, not totally
There's a lot
empty.
of debris in there.
It looks basically exactly like it
A
did.
storm from moving out.
Exactly. There were still water bottles on the floor.
Yeah, 9 months ago, it looks exactly the same. So, I mean, it's just been sitting there, and John had the idea, like, it has that. I don't know if you guys have seen it on any, like.
I saw it on some of your early things. It's got that.
It has that look, you
Yeah.
know. It looks like it's a pole barn. It's an Amish pole barn,
It
It's
is,
got the
literally.
board and batten siding, the green metal roof. It's it looks like a wood shop that somebody's grandpa or Norm Abrams or whoever would work in. So I think it's got a lot of potential to be like this studio space, studio shop where, we can build stuff. And we have this more industrial looking shop where if we're, building something that we're trying to make seem accessible to like a more hobby or a beginner woodworker, it
doesn't appear that way.
It might feel intimidating. They see
the viewer's going to look at it as
I can't afford a saw stop like they have.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Or, we're doing something over here and it may be simple, but there's a edge bander in the back.
Yeah,
or
right,
a wide
right,
belt sander.
yeah, right.
must be nice with that Greene Street money.
Yeah. We're trying to get today's Craftsman money.
Yeah, and so that would be some sort of like long form video where it's in, as we build out something that's sort of like almost like a large garage size wood shop. We talked about starting with a job site table saw and a lunchbox planer.
Okay.
And just sort of doing things like that and maybe organically grow it up.
Right.
Highlight the machinery and the uses and the techniques that are somewhat accessible, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, show people you don't need this, a huge industrial shop with, very expensive tools to do, woodworking.
Yeah.
Because we all started, I started in my basement.
Right. Right.
We're bootstrapping it as
we
bootstrapped as you can get.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, like a true carpenter worked out of the house that he had basically like
carry this stuff with him.
The Craftsman old school table saw with like the joiner on it and, or like the shopsmith. That was really before the shopsmith, but they were building everything because they were building the kitchen in the house and
and
everything
doing all
was
site
of it.
built.
Yeah, so you learned how to get around a lot of things with just one or two pieces of equipment and, showing a lot of the other.
Yeah, I mean, we have a job site saw. We bust it out. Usually we don't want to bust out the job site saw because that means something's not right.
Right.
You need a table saw and install.
Well, you have to say, we're going to plan to use this today. Yeah.
I mean, when I was a finish carpenter, I built full walk-in closets on site in the closet with a Bosch 4100 table saw, a miter saw, and maybe like a 1 1/4 horsepower router. Did everything.
Yeah, and that track saw is pretty.
Yeah, I didn't even have a track saw yet.
Yeah, that was a dream.
I was ripping full sheets of plywood by myself. I was so green. I'm like working till late in the night, just trying to, prove myself. But I mean, I got thrown to the wolves. I was doing walk-in closets like after, I don't even know, 6 months or something.
Wow.
Terrified somebody would find out.
That was my whole thing. It was like I had this fear in the pit of my stomach. I'm like, I bet I got to just fake it, for now.
If we only had the Craftsman show to learn on.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe, why I like sharing the information that I have now is because that's how I learned everything. I didn't have anybody to teach me anything. I worked with a guy, Felix, Dominican guy, awesome guy, still my buddy. We go and see him every now and then. He's still working for the company. And, but, he wasn't, maybe it wasn't that he wasn't willing, but he didn't really teach me much. So I would go home and watch guys like Gary Katz and, This Old House and stuff like that. And that's how I learned. So I know how powerful of a tool it could be for somebody else just trying to get started.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, and somebody being able to watch and not have that fluff.
Yeah. And as John was saying the other day, because we have the business, like this is how we earn our living, there's just an enormous amount of opportunity for videos and projects and things like that because there's always something that's actually being done.
Yeah.
John's like, start making a list of like things, ideas for videos. I'm like, we could just go like this. Just point at any direction in the shop and there's something.
There's an idea.
It's like that at this place too. I mean, just walking around out there,
Hopefully we didn't disappoint you.
Oh no,
no, we got to walk around and get some video before we leave.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Every corner is a story.
Yeah, I had a customer in here one time. We were doing a little open house, and he was an older guy, and he looks at me and he goes, "Do you know what every machine in here does?" I said, yes, I do. I said, would you like to test? He goes, no, I believe you.
Well,
In the back of his mind, he said, "Thank God he didn't test me."
I think I could probably pull that off.
Yeah.
You could just
Yeah, Ron
make it up
knows
too if you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. How would he know? If he didn't know, how would he know I was telling the
Exactly.
truth?
This machine makes wood.
That's a 3-ended tenoner.
Yeah.
That's like when the carton layback came in that time and you called me up. What the hell is this?
Oh yeah, that was the strangest tool.
Oh, I
on
told
the,
you that one, yeah.
American Craftsman
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited to have you guys up here for sure. And
Oh, yeah. Great. I'm glad you
To
could
move.
come.
yeah, it's another step in the networking. You know, it's great to develop relationships because in the end, that's really what it's
Yeah.
all about.
Yeah, and you know,
sounds
when
corny, but it's true.
it is, yeah.
When we need a machine, you know who we're calling. You know?
I missed the last
What
one.
would you guys recommend? I mean, who would you want us to have one? You know, Keith, like a guy like Keith. I mean, is another kind of industry, or I mean, we know so many people, and we're starting to invite people. Some of them are far away, so it's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
them here. We actually have invited the guys from IRS Auctions.
Oh yeah, that's where we bought our slider and edge bander.
Well, I used to work not for IRS Auction, but the previous company.
That's what
Carpenter
I asked
Machinery.
Brian because I had assumed that's because you said that they were turning into an auction company. I said,
Yeah.
was that
Yeah.
IRS
Yeah,
auction?
it was called Carpenter's Machinery. So we did invite them, and I think they're going to come.
That would
I
be
don't-
cool.
I don't know when.
Yeah, it's funny because I reached out to Keith and said, "Hey, this is what it's all about." And then he ended up calling Ron.
Yeah.
He's like, "Is this real? What are we
Yeah,
doing here?"
yeah.
What is a podcast?
Yeah, he was concerned. What do you want me to talk about and not talk about? And I said, I don't know that there's anything you don't want to
Yeah.
talk about. I said, just he's got to be a little bit of a politician too. Like
Yeah,
I don't criticize people, but and he's good at that. And I said, we can edit it out if you say something
Yep.
that you really decided you didn't want to say. So I think I just don't know when they're coming, but
Yeah.
I think maybe some high level, like what we do, but like even bigger, would be great for us because,
Yeah.
like I said, we're trying to grow the business, and we were talking about it in the warehouse before. Like, there's not a great resource for guys like us who are trying to like grow a cabinet furniture company. Like, there's no roadmap for that.
right.
There's just not that many guys, especially where we are. And there's just, there's not a great resource for us for something like that, to learn these sort of hard learned tips and strategies for growing a business.
Yeah, they always say that growing the business is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Whether it's what we do, what you do,
Right.
that's where there's the most danger.
Yeah.
It seems
Definitely.
like we just sort of cleared that first hurdle
Yeah.
from the backyard shop to the new shop in Keensburg,
Right.
and you guys are going through something similar.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like we're always doing something to grow the company into another direction.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the world. That's the business world.
Yeah,
It's-
absolutely.
You got to adapt. You have to change. You can't be stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things we used to hate about the old company was, I've been doing this for 40 years. Well,
That's a problem.
We have always
And-
done it.
Yeah. Well, that's like, you see these mom and pop businesses that close after 40, 50 years, and they're like, man, why did this? Because people get comfortable. You can never be comfortable. If you think that you figured it out the best way, you're wrong, because
Right.
you always need to be, trying to figure out how to improve the business. It's the beauty and the curse of owning your own business is that you have this freedom to take the business in a direction, but you're cursed with the task of doing it and the stress
And
of
the
trying
risk
to
of
figure
doing
it
it
out.
wrong.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to lose.
Yeah,
we got
that's
a lot on the line.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And nobody's giving out loans or anything to a business without a personal guarantee these days.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
we got several personal guarantees out there.
That's like we
Fred
were
calls us
we were out in
every,
Vegas.
every month.
We went to Vegas for the show, and one of my guys said to me the other day, he said, "Did you gamble at all?" I said, "No, I gamble every morning. You turn the lights on in here."
Yep.
Yeah, that for sure. It's
Yeah, there's no guarantees.
Nope.
No.
You got to show up every day, though.
Yeah.
Got to go swing for the fence every day, and
Yeah.
some days you get a homer, and a lot of days you go home back to the dugout.
Some days you get hit with the pitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Some days I'm just happy to get to first. Well, I'll take an error, you know.
Speaking of Fred, you said Fred before.
Yeah, he
Right?
calls.
Yeah. Well, we're upset. We missed him. He was in. Fred is the
Is it Ascension? Is it?
Ascensium Capital. He's the.
Oh, yeah. We work with
I don't know
him.
what his title would be.
He's
Financing
a sales-
officer, or
I
whatever.
thought he's a sales.
He did.
He did theirs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
So
gave us the money to buy the
Yeah,
seats.
right.
He's the
right.
financier of
Yeah,
our
right.
edge bander.
Yeah, he was in Vegas. He came by the booth in
He
Vegas.
was,
Yeah.
With our money.
Yeah, he used your money to come to Vegas. There you go.
But he's got family local to us, so we were down at this kitchen install totally tied up, so we couldn't. He was going to stop by the shop, but
Oh, okay.
unfortunately we missed him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
sounds super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have our buddy Corey has some machines financed through Ascensium.
Yeah, does he?
Yeah.
Up at CT?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way to go. I mean,
I think his joiner and maybe the Cantech, I don't
the
know.
slider, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because when I popped in those guys' shop up there, and it's like, hey, it's Brian. We know you.
Was Rob there, real tall guy?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, because they were like, we listen to the podcast. We know who you are. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. This is our little circle.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
guys are great. They're part of Maker Camp. So the woodworking tent, which is this year, it's sponsored by Highland Hardwood up in Massachusetts, I guess they are. It's Rob, myself, Rob DeMarco, and Corey, CT Woodwork, our buddy Matt Viz. He's the guy with the Oliver planer and
Oh, okay.
joiner.
Yeah.
And Bliss.
And Robert Bliss, who's up in New Hampshire. So
So when is that event?
that is October, I think, 7th to 9th. It's Columbus Day weekend. You guys should go. It's a lot of fun.
And what do
Yeah,
you
send
say?
me the link
you,
on it.
You make something. Everybody has to make something, or what were you describing? You said in one of your podcasts you talked about that.
So what we'll be doing in the woodworking tent, we decided to do picture frame. So like if you want to build a picture frame, we'll have the parts, and we got SawStop to send us a saw last year, so that'll still be up there. So we'll cut like half lap joinery and give you the parts. You can assemble it. We'll cut a rabbet for the plexiglass, and you can put that in and put some finish on it and take it home.
Oh, okay.
But you can go and blacksmith. Like there will be professional blacksmiths there who can teach you how to make whatever. You know, they'll choose what they're teaching this year. You know, there'll be like some broad beck iron who make 2x72 belt grinders. They'll be there, so you can grind a knife. You could go weld with Lincoln welders. It's really cool.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Plus, it's just a good time. You know, it's very relaxed, open air atmosphere, good food, good people.
So over a weekend, a whole weekend, or what?
Yeah. We usually go up, you know, the day early.
We'll go like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, I think we leave Monday mornings. Eat in the dining hall. It's great.
Where is it at again?
It's the Blackthorn Resort in East Durham, New York.
Yeah, October 6th to 9th, 2023. It's like an hour west of Albany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a super casual thing. Like, you don't have to do anything. You can just walk
Yeah,
around
just
and
walk
shoot the
around.
shit.
Just hang out and watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people do that.
But a lot of people have never blacksmithed before, so you get a chance to, like, you know, stick a piece of iron in the fire,
Beat on it.
hammer it. They show you how to roll it and, you know, shape it, and
Yeah.
Interesting.
it's a lot of fun. And we introduced woodworking to it.
Yeah. Because we went, this will be our third year going. The first year we went, which was the second, I think, Maker Camp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had a great time, and then we're like, man, there really should be like some woodworking at
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah.
So we approached Austin, whose family owns the Blackthorn. He runs Maker Camp, and
Is
we
he the guy
created
who was on your podcast? Who was on the podcast talking about it?
That was probably Keith, our buddy Keith.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does what's called the Maker Swap. He runs that. at the event.
Okay.
So yeah, we approached Austin, and then so we got in touch with SawStop. We got them to sponsor the tent. We had the SawStop woodworking tent, and I don't know what happened between Austin and SawStop. Maybe he might not have even approached them to sponsor again. But Highland Hardwood is the sponsor this year, so they'll be providing the wood for these picture frames.
Yeah, that was one of our takeaways, is that people want something they could take away with
Actually,
them.
Yeah,
You know, something they could touch, put in their bag, and say, "Look, I got this from Maker Camp."
yeah.
Nice.
Like I have like a bookmark and something else from the blacksmithing. I kind of caught the blacksmithing bug, and so after Maker Camp, I went and I bought an anvil and a forge, and now I have no time. And I've only done it like 3 times.
It's
since
just sitting
then,
there, huh?
but- Yeah, but actually, I bought an anvil from a like a really well-known knife maker, and it was his
Yeah.
first anvil, and I was kind of honored to buy it. And now it's just kind of sitting there getting rusty. But he's down in Upper Black Eddy, Pennsylvania. He's really good.
Sounds like a fun event.
It is.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, last year they had this big barbecue at the
Oh yeah.
on the last day. It was really good.
They do the maker burn, so throughout the weekend they start to build this giant edifice. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Like, so the first year was it a T-Rex?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like a 30-foot tall T-Rex made out of wood. And
Oh, yeah?
then on the last night they set it on fire,
Oh, really?
and the flames are like 50 feet high.
Yeah, if it's 30 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year was a jackalope.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what they're doing this year. You know, they make it so like the fire's coming out of the mouth. They light it at the bottom, and it's like a chimenea, and then the whole thing goes up. It's a lot of fun, and you get to meet all kinds of different people. We've met a lot of cool people there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the first time we ever hung out with Rob.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Did we meet Viz there too? Or did we know him?
I kind of knew him
social
a little
media?
bit beforehand, yeah. And same thing with Corey. Like, knew Corey a little bit, but not that well. And then it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse to get out of the shop. Go.
Like Corey and Rob actually
go.
came to our old shop to help us move.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were
From
telling
Long
me the
Island.
whole story. So it was like, when I went up there, I said, yeah, we're real close. We actually had to come down and help them move everything.
Yeah, we were like totally shocked.
We were humbled by the amount of help we got to move.
had
That's
like
really
7
fantastic.
guys who just volunteered, and we didn't ask anybody.
Yeah.
They all just said, when you move, let us know when, and we'll be there.
That's nice.
So yeah, it was.
That's a good part of the community.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You know, that's the kind of people you want to keep close to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We didn't have anybody offer to help us move when we came up from Chamber.
Your stuff's a little heavier.
But you guys are part of that community now too.
Yeah,
and
we'll be
vice
over.
versa.
Yeah, we feel
So next
honored
time
to
we
be
move-
part of it.
Next time we move, don't forget
Yeah.
to come help.
It's totally reciprocal.
We'll bring our forklifts.
We're well equipped.
We were lucky because our buddy Keith, who was on that podcast a couple weeks ago, he has a truck with a lift gate. And then at the new shop, we had the forklift. So we could pull stuff on the lift gate, lift it up into his truck. And the new shop's only 3 miles from the old shop. And then just pick it up with the forklift.
So,
Oh, we've done some comical things getting machinery into the old shop,
Yeah.
even into the new shop.
Even the laser, the laser came on a box truck, and the skids were the wrong way. So the solid side was facing us because they couldn't fit it in the truck the right way, and there was just like a 1-inch lip. So I got under there, picked it up a little bit. We slid some skids underneath of it, and and it was. Our forklift is old. It's a 1989 Clark 5,000-pound lift, and it has relatively short forks. They're probably only, 4 feet?
And one's up and one's down.
One of them's bent, so we need to get some longer forks because the crate was it was probably like 64 by 90 or something like that, and it just the back end was too heavy, so it was. We had a pallet jack under the ass of it and drove the forklift backwards into the shop. But we've unloaded.
So now you can say you're becoming riggers as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you should have seen the Sahisa coming off the truck.
Oh yeah. Well, how about Barry?
Oh God.
We took was it a 48-inch?
He
36 inch?
37.
37-inch Woodmaster double drum sander. I'm sure you guys have seen.
yeah.
It's like a 4-foot cube, basically, out of the back of a pickup truck and into the shop with just an engine hoist.
oh yeah, boy.
And we got it out of the shop into somebody else's pickup truck when we sold it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that thing, Barry.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
That's been our way
Yep.
most of the time. We whether it's building something that like Jeff designed, and I was like, oh, how are we gonna get that into the third floor thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
We just had a job kind of fall through, which I'm a little bit relieved. We were going to build two 10-foot tall replicas of these floral arrangements to be displayed in front of the Flatiron Building in Manhattan. And one of which would need a 12-foot diameter, a section of a 12-foot diameter sphere, like 5 feet high, like a dome, you know. And we were going to make it out of paper mache. We're going to buy a weather balloon and make I know it's crazy. Buy a weather balloon, blow it up, and literally paper mache this thing with rosin paper and Titebond 3, and then cover it with flowers. You know, it would have worked. We would have figured it out.
yeah.
But luckily, you
Well,
know.
it wouldn't have got shot down until it actually got out in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They thought we were going to build giant flowers. You know, it's a flower company, so they thought that we were going to be able to scale up the flowers. I'm like, we're not going to be able to make 24-inch diameter flowers. So
Right.
that was the nail that broke the straw that broke the camel's back.
Cool.
Somewhat relieved about that though.
Yeah.
That sounds like it.
Yeah, there's plenty of other stuff going on.
Yeah.
So how do people find you?
Well, social media usually. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on Instagram at Greene Street Joinery, and YouTube a little bit. You can find the podcast on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, really anywhere. The podcast is the American Craftsman podcast. That gets released every Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern time. And then today's Craftsman. Craftsman is with a MEN. That's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely enjoyed the visit,
Absolutely.
and we're looking forward to seeing what happens with today's Craftsman
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be watching.
And the Street Big.
and
Yeah,
the street.
absolutely.
Yeah,
We're very interested in that one.
I think
Yeah.
that's about 2 weeks out. 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, and we want to
Shoot.
do a long video on the Sahisa too.
Oh yeah, we'd love you to
Oh,
come
I'm
out.
down for that. Yeah.
And, because there's a real hole in the, whole YouTube content on the Sahisa edge banders. So
Well, and I think a lot of people don't know.
They don't know the brand that well, I don't think.
yeah,
Yeah, that would help us too. That'd
Yeah.
be great.
yeah, it's tough for people shopping for an edge bander when you go look it up and you're like, I can't. There's no information about it. I want
Right.
to see somebody. There's a couple videos, but there's no talking, and they're very short. I want somebody like Brian who knows the machine to take me through the machine, show me what's what, how it works, why it's good. So I think it'd be good for a lot of people. It'd be very beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think too, a lot of people in the industry or sales in the industry don't understand them.
Mm-hmm.
Other than a tech side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really come at it from every angle.
Yeah, we have some salesmen who don't know anything about their products. It's true.
No,
I'm sure
no
you do. I'm
names.
sure you do.
No names.
Or like, I know what's on this sales sheet that they gave me at the office.
Please read this.
Yeah. Push the new drawer slides.
Awesome.
Oh,
Well, we
God.
enjoyed having you guys on. And
Yeah, I'm glad you guys came.
Yeah.
Thanks
a
for
lot of
having
fun.
us.
I
We had a
appreciate
great
it.
time. Great
Good.
time.
the,
Excellent.
Thanks for lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, always.
You're welcome.
Always. Yeah. So thanks for everybody for tuning in.
All right.
Catch you at the next one.
Take care.
All right.